we're going to talk a bit of England now. Is that right? I look at the producer. Yes, we are. Yeah, we're going to talk a bit of England. Alex Crook is in the England camp joining us now. Good afternoon, Crookie.
Hello, mate.
Good afternoon. We well?
Yeah, we're not too bad. So a couple of late call-ups we've had, haven't we, into the squad?
Yeah, we have. Obviously, we had some withdrawals over the weekend after the Premier League games, which tends to happen going into these international breaks. But Curtis Jones and Tino Livramento both called up by Lee Carsley. Curtis Jones, a key player of the under-21 team that won the Euros under Carsley. So I think we were all expecting him to get some game time at senior level at some point, and excited to see how they are utilised. They've got this game against Greece on Thursday night live on talkSPORT, which is quite a big one, actually, because you look at the table in England's Nations League group, and we very much expect England to win it and get promotion back to the top tier. Greece actually, at the moment, are top of that table. So England need a positive result in this one.
Is it hope that Jack Grealish is going to be okay? There's an expectation that Harry Kane may not start, but what's the situation with Jack Grealish? Because he missed training this morning, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and that's never a good sign the day before an England game. So I think he'll be touch and go. I think the plan was to rotate the players at the top end of the pitch anyway, so we'll see if he's available. I think the expectation, and I'm going to be down there speaking to Lee Carsley and John Stones later, is that Harry Kane won't feature in this first game, and that provides an opportunity, doesn't it? Probably to Ollie Watkins, who of course scored that memorable goal to take England to the final of the Euros. But Dominic Solanke as well was speaking to my colleague Faye Carruthers yesterday, and he was saying that he's ready if called upon. So rather than seeing this as a blow, not having their captain and record goal scorer, I think Lee Carsley might see this as an opportunity to see what one of the understudies can do.
Jack Grealish made it pretty clear that he felt he should have gone to the Euros in the summer. But when he chatted to Faye yesterday, I'm just going to play a clip now. He chatted to Faye and he talked about Lee Carsley and his relationship with him. This is what he had to say.
I don't know where it does come from. I think sometimes you just have this connection with a manager, and I feel like I have got that with Lee. I don't know if it's because we're both from Birmingham, I don't know. But he's a great guy, and the way he lets us know as players, how he wants us to play as a team, and also individually is honestly second to none. And I think everyone wants to play the way he does because it's proper football.
It's interesting. We were saying to Faye yesterday, Crookie, that he isn't the most kind of fluid of performers in front of the cameras. He admits that isn't his strength, and ultimately, does that matter? But with the players, all the players he works with, Anthony Gordon was talking about working with him with the 21s. They say he's a great communicator. He's a great coach. He's obviously impressed the players.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty clear when you listen to Jack Grealish there, and as you say, Anthony Gordon during the last break for the Nations League, there's a lot of support from within the England dressing room for Lee Carsley to be kept on as permanent manager. I think that probably is the most likely outcome now. We spoke on talkSPORT a few weeks ago and said that no approach had been made for the likes of Eddie Howe, or Graham Potter, of course, is out of work and might be more attainable than Eddie Howe. So I think Lee Carsley very much is in the box seat. He's got a dream run of fixtures. You have to say that. England probably shouldn't be in the second tier of the Nations League anyway. Obviously, it was a perfect start, back-to-back victories in September, no goals conceded. And if they were to win tomorrow, and they're big favourites to win, not least because Greece's star striker is unavailable, he would be the first England manager since Fabio Capello to win all three of his first games in charge. And no England manager has ever won three in a row at the start of their tenure without conceding a goal. And it wouldn't be beyond the realms of fantasy that England win 2-0 again tomorrow night. So I think he's got a great opportunity, Lee Carsley. He is different with the media than Gareth Southgate. I don't think, as you've mentioned, he sees that as his natural strength. He's not maybe the sort of politician that Gareth Southgate had to be at times. But I think when it comes to good old-fashioned coaching, the training ground, the way he wants the team to play, I think there's a lot in Lee Carsley's favour.
It's almost like he needs an interpreter next to him. A foreign coach would have an interpreter to say what he needs.
Not that bad.
So he needs to.
Because he's from Birmingham?
No, because you can understand what he says, but to sort of polish up what he's saying a little bit, make it a little bit more media savvy. Like Anton Deck sat next to him. So he says what he wants to say, and Anton Deck make it. Bradley Walsh sits next to him, makes it very showbiz.
Okay, Charlie,
just an idea.
You've gone down the showbiz route.
Just an idea.
There's been an awful lot of stuff about Cole Palmer as well, hasn't there? I mean, he is just—it's almost getting first name on the team sheet. Country, he's in such good nick at the moment.
what a wonderful position to be in as a nation, that you're talking about who should be England's number 10 for the foreseeable future. You've got Cole Palmer, banging form with Chelsea, one of the standout performers in Germany, despite the fact that he wasn't really afforded too much playing time by Gareth Southgate. You've got Phil Foden, and I think the old debate will rage about why he can't replicate his Manchester City form in an England shirt, because I thought he struggled in the summer to really make his mark. And obviously you've got Jude Bellingham, who missed out last month, but he's back to full fitness as well. So, I mean, I can't think of too many international managers who wouldn't relish such riches. I actually think Cole Palmer will start in the number 10 against Greece. I think he's probably played his way into that position, not least with the 4 goals he scored against Brighton a couple of weeks ago. But he's got such self-confidence, hasn't he, bordering on arrogance. But I think it's a nice arrogance. He believes he belongs on the international stage. And that's why, even in his fleeting appearances in the Euros, he was able to make his mark.
But left back. We've got all these number 10s and we've got a left back. What do we do about that?
Well, I think it'll probably be Levi Colwill, won't it? Who's the only real option if you're going to, pick a defender to play at left back. It's an interesting one because obviously Tyreek Mitchell is fit and playing regularly for Crystal Palace. They've not had the best start to their Premier League season. I wonder if that's counted against him. You got Rico Henry, who I think would be in with a shout when he comes back. But when is Luke Shaw going to be able to stay fit? It's a conundrum not just for Manchester United. Not talked about, but I think his absence has been a huge issue for United as a team, and for Marcus Rashford in particular, actually, because they've got such a good understanding down that left-hand side. And obviously throughout the summer, when barring one half against the Dutch, England didn't really perform to their best. I think it was the absence of Luke Shaw which really left the team disjointed. So that is one problem that Lee Carsley has inherited from Gareth Southgate. We've got loads of right-backs. We've got no left-backs.
We're going to talk to our Greek football expert tomorrow about the threat they pose, but the expectation is that it'd be a pretty low block and looking to hit us on the break, as is often the case. It's been interesting to see how they deal with that. It can frustrate teams sometimes. Be interesting to see how England deal with that. We were sort of there, maybe in some ways, and this is not club bias, but maybe Solanke's maybe better suited in that situation than Watkins.
Well, I had that conversation with Gabby Agbonlahor on breakfast this morning, and it was a little bit to wind him up. But I agree with you. If you're looking for a like for Harry Kane, I would say Solanke is more similar. He's certainly waited patiently, isn't he? 7 years since he won his only cap against Brazil. As I say, I would kind of think Carsley would lean towards Watkins just because of the credit he's got in the bank from the summer. But I would expect Solanke during the course of this break to certainly get some playing time. An early goal would be nice, wasn't it? They got that in Dublin against the Republic of Ireland, and that just opens the game up. They had to wait a little bit longer in the second game, Lee Carsley's first game at Wembley, but again, one with something to spare. And there is a bit of a nod to that Beckham goal against Greece all those years ago. I don't think it's by design, but England are going to be playing in all white as they were at Old Trafford on that fateful afternoon. I think it's mainly because Greece are playing in all blue, but it's a nice little historical mention there.
Good stuff. Cheers, Crookie. We'll hear from you later.
Crookie.
You say you're going to have a chat with the manager and... sorry, who else do you say you're going to be chatting to today?
John Stones,
who
always speaks well. So looking forward to that.
Nice one. Excellent. Thank you. Cheers,
Thanks,
Alex.
Crookie.
It's Alex Crook there. And you'll be hearing some of those chats with Lee Carsley and John Stones a little bit later on. I put it in the bin, or I retrieved it from the bin. Jordan.
This is nice.
Jordan, the Sheffield Wednesday fan. I once put my son's pet hamster, Ronaldo, in the bin, believing he had moved on to the afterlife. That's not a particularly dignified way to see him off, was it? Standing round the bin, all of you, saying who's going to say a few words.
Which Ronaldo? R9 or
or Brazil. Don't say fat Ronaldo. Brazilian Ronaldo.
I was picking my words, Paul.
A few days later, however, I noticed a small hole in the bin bag.
Yeah.
And Ronnie's beady eyes peering back at me. So I had to fish him out. We didn't have to, but I'm glad you did.
It's Brazilian Ronaldo.
Turns out
eating his way through the bin.
This is not Chris Packham, old Jordan, the Wednesday fan. Turns out he'd been hibernating.
Oh, right. Just asleep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dad, where's
nice.
Ronaldo? Thrown him in the bin. He's dead. No, he's not. He's just hibernating.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs. Monday to Friday afternoons, 1 till 4. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.